Hey, what's happening? Everyone, Fit Brother back again. This is going to be a 3-for-1 special, a little bit of a Christmas gift for everyone. It's 3 deck profiles in one. So I'm going to be showing you my current build, what I'm going to be running come February, and then also my build for once all the new support is out. That's been announced currently outside of the new Fusion. I'm going to go into another video and kind of do a last Fit Father Coffee Time talks before the year's up. So this is like my little Christmas gift to everyone. But yeah, let's get started. I don't want to waste any more time. This is gonna be a longer video. So we're gonna start off. This is a 50 card build, by the way. We're gonna start off with one Neos, Shadow Mist, Liquid, and one Stratos. Um, I'll be honest, like this is one Stratos really hasn't been that much of an issue. Even like running for the 50 build, I'm running Hero Lives at 3. Not really noticing much of a difference because I rather see Vion, and I'm not gonna really want to see Stratos up until the last build I'm gonna show you guys. So, but I like this. This is a very like just simple hero package. You're gonna notice obviously Wing Creeper level 6 is not in here. I am still not playing Fusion Destiny. I still stand by my statement that that card is as good as it is. It's not as powerful as we make it out to be. If you want to run it at 1. That is my only critique in that, and I've played around with it at 1, but you'll see in a little bit. Back again, this is also why Stratos is at 1. I'm running triple Vion, double increase, and the 3 Ferris. I think this is perfect. If it plays around Joel just enough, like I said, I'm back on 3 Ferris just because of that. I still hate increase. The only other thing I would change if I really wanted to, I'm not really running any Evil Hero fusions in this deck. I took them out. I just don't find them as impactful as I like. So that's why increase is at 2. If it wasn't, I'd run a Darkest Night in there with the Dark Contact. And 3 Malicious, and I'm back on Denier because the one thing I kind of noticed and hindered me so much, making DPE was never the problem. It was recovery. Something I ran into with the No Fusion Destiny build was I still needed a way to recycle Mali, and I didn't have it, and it didn't feel as consistent, right? So you're gonna see like what the newer like the next build for once the new stuff drops. Denier is gonna be cut again, but it's not gonna be as hurtful. You'll see why. But I found that sometimes I'll burn through my Malleys and I'll need that Denier to kind of put it back just to guarantee myself DPE. So as much as I don't like it, it's basically it's like six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. You know, like Wing Creep below 6 is still really good. But I just could not get over the lack of recovery that actually hurt me last locals I went to. I went 0-2. Game 3 of round 1, I went against Synchron, and I was playing the build I posted, and what actually hurt me was I should have left Darklo on board, and I believe he saw on his channel too. I talked to him afterward, and I'm thinking back and I'm like, wow, I'm kicking myself. I should have either left DPE on board or Darklaw, and not try and go as hard as it is, because he had if he didn't have a Ghost Spell in hand, I think it was Ghost Spell. He had some form of like I think it was Ghost Spell. He had that and just dropped it. I was like, well, that's it. There's no way I'm coming back from that. So, but yeah, these are the only 2 heroes I run. The only other thing I could ever consider doing, it would be like bumping like either prison or gold up to 2. That's really it. I'm just not much of a fan of Necrom. I think it's a really good card. It's a personal preference, you know. And then lastly, Crosskeeper. I want extra draw and I wanted extra ways to basically kind of get an extension. The only other thing I would run actually instead of him, even though I like him for draw power, is I'd actually run what's his name? Vicious Claw actually is really, really strong. Um, People like underrate him. Vicious Claw, so that's the other evil hero I'd run instead of adding on. So if you're gonna run a 4 pack, I think Vicious Claw, if you're not running the Dark Contact, Vicious Claw is actually a very, very good card. You could actually even do like 1, 2, 3, 4, and like Vicious Claw, Gold, Dead End, Evil Assault, and then you could actually add the fifth card being Necrom if you really, really want to go that route. And my reason for saying that is because Vicious Claw kind of acts as like this way of he's a free body, right? As long as you have a hero monster on board, which most of the time you do. The other thing he does is, and which I think is really stupid, that's a once per duel effect. But if a hero monster, I believe, is destroyed, you can summon him back, and if you have a card that mentions Dark Fusion in your graveyard, there's a monster or a card that mentions Dark Fusion, pop a card in the field. That summon from grave is a once per duel effect, which I think is dumb. But the point actually you would use him for would be making DPE. And I actually like him better than Winkruba level 6, believe it or not. When I was playing around with him, like in practice, I actually found him to be a lot more consistent of getting him out versus getting Winkruba level 6. So, which are both viable. I would still say run both, but. And lastly, for hand trap wise, 1 Ash, 3 Joel. I'm going to come out the video I'm going to post by the end of the year. I'm praying Konami drops this to 1. I'm going to go into a whole thing. I feel like Joel and Lockboard right now is the new Max C argument. And we all know how that argument goes. But I'm a hard stand on, like, if you're not going to give us a retrain of Joel and Lockbird, limit it to 1. Give it the same treatment as Shifter is. That's my hot take on it, and I'll go into more into detail later in another video. Spells and traps, 2 mass change, double miracle fusion. This kind of replaces the favorite the dark contact. And lastly, 2 poly. So there is something else I'm going to be testing out, and I've been talking with eHero Forge about it too, and bumping up favorite contact to 2, the trap card. That card is cracked. Yeah, okay, you don't always see in your opening hand, right? It's not the best card, but it's a better card to have than, say, I don't know, a lot of things. It's an amazing card. It cheats out every single hero you get, and sometimes if you draw it, it's not always like you can't activate it straight away, right? But if you're running a slightly bigger build, like 45 plus, it actually does come in handy. And recycling cards, and especially like when you need that like protection, he does help. There we go. Evil Assault, Rhoda, Foolish, E-Call, and 3 Hero Lives because I'm running a 50 build. If I was not, this would be at 2. But yeah, no, I still stand by at 45 less. A Hero Lives at 2. I don't think it's a lot more cloggy. If I was going to change anything, if I was going to throw Fusion Destiny into this deck, E-Call would come out and it'd be Fusion Destiny. That was it. Or actually, a Hero Lives for Fusion Destiny. Because I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I'm finding myself less and less like wanting to see it. Like maybe 1 game out of everything, even the games I played at locals, where I just got hard destroyed because I just also didn't. I drew none of my interruptions. I drew nothing. So it was just one of those things where like heroes just bricks. It's just the nature of the game. You'll either go absolutely cracked hand or you'll just get absolutely destroyed. It is what it is. But I never wanted to see Fusion Destiny. I wanted to actually have a denier. That was it. That was the only thing I wish I had that entire time. And that's one of the reasons why I made the changes I did. I like how this plays now. Like I said, the only things I would change would if I was to swap out the denier would be to throw it in for a vicious claw. That's really it. Like I'm not even missing the dark contact in this. And then we got called by talent, and I threw two other cards in. You might wonder why they might seem like they conflict. Well, not this cross out. I'm having it strictly to just not die to a hand trap because that's something this deck just does way too easily. And prosperity. So you might be looking like, okay, he's running the liquid and he's running the crosskeeper, which are both draw cards. You can't use both, which I agree. That's perfectly fair criticism. My counter criticism to that is this deck needs to dig. So you don't always have to use liquid off to make the draws. Sometimes you can use liquid for the summon effect to get a monster back, which I have done if I have had prosperity. But the thing is with the heroes, you can't use the dig for 6. You can only use the dig for 3. Because I have 3 cards I instantly target, and past that point, if I don't have to activate prosperity off the rip, I won't. I'll save it as the very, very, very last card I play. That's not like it's like I said, if I have just prosperity and no other starters, I'm gonna go for prosperity and just dig out as best as I can, right? Because I don't want to burn my stuff. This is kind of like a last resort card. I treat this as a better Fusion Destiny, right? You dig for 3. More than likely, if you're running ratios right, you're gonna have at least draw a starter you want, right? That's how I see it. Again, sometimes if you have to, sometimes I will dig in for it, and if I like, maybe I'll get lucky and get a call by or a cross out and not die to a droll. So that's why I said this is like kind of the last card you want to play out. This is like, all right, I've already baited everything out. Let me just do that. I like it. I'm not really having any issues with it so far. On for the other quick plays, you got 3 Eclipse. You got 3 Droplet. I still think Eclipse is really good. You could drop down these 2 to 1 and 1. Because Droplet just is horrible going first unless you're going against Canine. But other than that, like, it's the Eclipses I found specifically in Hero, right? At least have 2. It's one of those cards where it is your answer to Nib, right? It also, when you activate Hero Lives, say they go to like impermanent, whatever, and you say whatever reason you happen to be unlucky and have a second in hand, you can eclipse your monster, get your effect off, and then activate the second Hero Lives to get another summon. That is a thing you can do. So, just some food for thought on why Eclipse is actually very versatile in Hero. It's not always good every format, depending upon the matchups, but it's actually good at protecting you. And lastly, for the traps, again, like I said, this is 50 favorite and 3 imperm. I'm beginning to have a gut feeling to just add a second contact. I just think it's still really good. I think it's a card that we should really consider bumping to 2, which would be like basically 8 points of fusion. I did cut mass change that the third one just because I just want to have more room for non-engine, and I just wanted to have some more interruptions and more ways to dig. So I really don't notice as much of a change for that. Extra deck and side is just, it is what it is. The extra is what kind of changed a little bit. Obviously, I'm back up to 2 Cross Crusader because I have now Denier back in the deck. I don't need the 1. The Visor and Double Driver because there are those times where your only summon's going to be dead in prison, right? So having the ability, so say if it's your normal summon, you pitch, summon, get Mally, summon for driver first, and then summon the other Mally to get prison. Get prison. Get whatever other card you hopefully will need. Hopefully you have another hero to summon or to play with. But that's why double drivers in there. And sometimes also you just wanna they just get rid of it, and you're just kind of like, oh well, I'm kind of up creek without a battle. Then we have Ab Zero, Escarado. He's actually really good. I tossed him back in, even though I don't have Fusion Destiny, because sometimes you just want to make an extra hero, and like say you don't want, like, I want to have a way to make an extra body, or like you have like a dark Shadow Mist and another hero in hand, right? These two kind of let you fill out the Dangerous is, again, even though I'm not running it, like running Fusion Destiny, having the option to unbrick your hand with the Dark Monster. Say you sometimes will have like the Poly, or I'll have like, and I've had it happen where it's either a hero or a Vision hero. One of those two combinations, I had no way to unbrick myself. Now I have a way to unbrick myself. So, again, this also, one of these is also, depending with Prosperity, you could easily say like this plus a Wonder Driver, like these two and Wonder Driver are easily banishable, or even one of the Dark Laws, you could even argue, like do that, because not, you might not always need the second Dark Law, but the second Dark Law does come up sometimes, quite often actually. So especially when I had Mass Change of 3, it came up a lot more, but still, like, even then, like having that ability to just make a second Dark Law is really good. It's also one of your targets for what do you call it? Prosperity. So, if anything, like you could argue taking out. If you had to condense these two, and I think the only issue I run into is with condensing, and I know people don't like him, is Vision Hero Adoration, which is basically 2 hero monsters, period. The only reason and I've really been considering running him, not because he's good, he's absolutely terrible, but because he's a free 2 heroes. That's it. That's all you need, is just 2 heroes and you make him. I think we don't give Adoration enough consideration. That rhyme. And it's something that I think we should. Like, if I took out these two, it would just be Adoration, right? But the reason I have this in here also is for Miracle Fusion, but I'd probably run The Shining. But that's just, again, that's just some food for thought on that. But yeah, that's my main build. The side deck is just kind of whatever. You got the 3 Furulos. I put 2 Droll on the side, 2 Thrust, 2 Salesmen. I have a Prohibition somewhere. I just don't know where it is. 3 Dark Ruler, and then just 3 evenly, just to kind of round it out. Like I said, I would like to prefer to run like 2 Salesman and 2 Prohibition. I prefer 3 Salesman, but I don't have Salesman. But Prohibition would actually be pretty nice too. I think that's another underrated card. But yeah, that's it for the main hero deck. Now I'm going to show you guys my what I'm going to be building going into February. And also, again, shout out to your brother, Hero Forge. He sent me some really awesome proxies, so I really appreciate you. But yeah, let me start just disassembling some stuff, and I'll get right into that. Let's see. Just took out one. I believe I took out one of those. One of those. Took out that. Took out that. That was this. One. All right. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to reround this. So, I'm just going to kind of just quickly go through this. The non-engine stuff and all that's kind of all staying the same. There is some definite changes, but I kind of wanted to show off the proxies that you're fortunate. So, again, thank you, brother, for these. I think these look amazing. But yeah, this is what it'd be 2 Crow and 2 Furnace starting off. I think making contrast is really good and having that recovery. I like Crow. I think also hard drawing him is not a bad card at all. I actually really, really like it. And then with that, I'm just going to speed run this through. So we don't take up too much time. But I'm not running the Evil Hero package in this. I just don't think it's necessary for the deck. So you can see, yep, you can still see that. And that's it for the heroes. I actually am playtesting online with Allure in this. So, ironically enough, I kind of found that now we have a little bit more dark targets. And I'm not really too heavily relying on the Evil Hero stuff. Oh, sorry, Denier doesn't belong in there. I lied. Denier's not in there. Not Denier. Yeah, it's just this for the main monsters. You could technically maybe throw in a second Stratos if you really, really want to. But, and then the redraw, the Ash. I just don't like having Ash in at 3. Or like 2 is the most I'd probably run it at. I just feel like it's just one of those things where it's like you want to see it, but you don't want to see it too often. And then obviously that. Like again, I cut them down to 2 because this is, I believe, a 44 card build or 45 card build. But yeah, I've been testing out Allure in this particular build. And it's actually really good. It's surprisingly good. Like it does a lot. Like obviously you have to play smarter. You can't just like go reckless into it. But I think Allure is actually a very interesting card to consider. You know, it puts out enough work. It gives you what you want. Like you don't like say you have like an extra Ferris in hand, you can just banish that. I definitely think it's worth considering. The other card that I know, I don't know if it's coming out in the new set, is Drawbread, and I don't know if enough people are giving that enough attention. I hope not, so it keeps the price down, so I can get those max rarities. But I think Drawbread's a really, really, really good card. Let me just double count this real quickly live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Okay, it is 45. All right, beautiful. 46 if I did that. But no, I think Drawbread is actually a really good card. I would actually consider running as well. But yeah, I think that's, for me personally, this is kind of how I'd probably consider running the deck going forward for coming up to the next set. And then on to the newer stuff as well, right? Because now we have that plus all this extra good, yummy stuff, right? Now we're going to see a whole different kind of build with everything. And this is for, extra deck would just be, you would add that there and just take out some of the other stuff. That's really it. But I'll leave these guys out off to the side because coming up you only need one contrast. And now we will get to the final build of the day. I know, right? This is, I told you, this is a 3-for-1 special. Let's see, I have this right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Where are they? Let's see. Let's put everything nicely together. Let's make sure that the deck counts right. I feel like we're missing some stuff. Really? I guess not. Oh no, I am. I lied. There is one card I'm missing. I am missing this card and this card. All right. So, you guys ready for the final deck profile of the video? I know, you guys getting some real quality content here, right? So this build's 44. It can go up to 45 pretty easily if you really want it to. But without making you guys wait too much longer, again, nothing's really crazy changed, but I just found like this was the best build I could get it with everything I have at my disposal. And playing online, I just felt like this was the most optimal way to play it. So just give me 2 seconds. So Here we go. All right. So last build for once all the new stuff comes out, right? This is all the new stuff. We got 2 Stratos, got the Liquid, Shadow Mist, Neos. Standard. He's back at 2 for this because he actually kind of you can actually really you kind of need the second. You could theoretically bump him down to 1, but with this new stuff, it actually helps to have the second. 1 Aqua Dolphin, 2 of the Miracle Ejector. Again, these are all the proxies are all courtesy of Hero Forge. Thank you again, brother. Seriously. 3 Mali. You don't need Fusion Destiny or any of that in this. Like, you just don't. It's just not necessary. 2 Vion, 1 Furnace, 1 Fountain, and 1 Dustcrow. 1 and 1 is actually really, really good. If anything, you could bump up to 2 would be Furnace. That's it, because having the or even the second Fountain, but I think the second Furnace is better. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'd rather draw on the Furnace than I'd rather draw on the Fountain. And then you do actually run the 1 and 1 of Gold and Prison, because it's either that or you end up kind of running the Vision Hero stuff, and I don't want to do that, because you can actually you no longer need increase in Varus with this build. Like, you don't. It just does not. It's not necessary. And having like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 of everything is actually really good. I would keep. You could theoretically drop Vion down to 1, but I sometimes rather hard draw into him, if that makes sense. Again, the extra deck stuff's not the non-engine stuff's not changing, so we're gonna go with that, except for the drop from with Droplet and Eclipse going to 2. That was it. But you have Ian Shuffle, 1 Mass Chain because you just get it so easily. 2 Miracle, 2 Poly, 1 E-Call because you want to search that. The 2 Hero Lives really comes in handy. I'm just putting this all best I can out there. And then you got the 2 Eclipse. I'll bring them out in a second. Oh no, Rhoda, where are you going? And then 2 Eclipse, 2 Droplet, 3 Imperm, and then the 1 Favorite Contact. It's a little janky, the setup right now. I'm trying to speed through this as fast as I can. This video is already at like 33 minutes. So, and then last but not least, I'll show you guys the extra deck, because that actually is a major change. You got those guys. You have that. Sunrise, Dark Law, 1 Driver, Devicer, Crusader. I believe I had 2 contrasts in here. Where's the other one? I just have the second contrast. Yeah, here it is. So it's like 2 contrasts. And then, so I don't have a proxy of the new fusion, but the new fusion would go here for the 15th card. I think that really kind of does it. I think that new fusion's also really, really good. But yeah, that's really it. Like, if you want just to have something in the meantime to kind of throw there, we'll put, I don't know, a second Wonder Driver. There we go. Second Wonder Driver, just to have something. But yeah, no, that's kind of really it. You could put Neos Lord there if you want to. But I really like this deck. Like the finalized version, I think is amazing. I think it's very strong, very consistent. Again, we at least can play through Droll now. We have options to. So yeah, that's really it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this is a bit of a longer video, but I just wanted to kind of go through and just kind of showcase what I've been cooking up and what will be coming down the pipeline. So I don't really, unless like obviously the meta changes too drastically, I don't know if that like deck list, these two, the last two I showed you, are going to change. Like maybe non-engine, and that's really about it. Is the only things that would probably come out and change. But other than that, I think the deck's basically as solid as you can get it. Um, there's really not much else to kind of say to that. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And have a Merry Christmas. And see you guys in the next one. And I'll be on the lookout for my next video, which I'll be doing a little bit more of a deep dive discussion. And take it easy.